Hi, and welcome to another episode of Real Raw Talk, where we keep it real and raw. I am your host, Vanetta Farai, and this is my co-host, Michael.
Hi, my name is Zen Michael Dyer, and I have today Real and Raw.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
Hey, I'm Anthony G, a.k.a. Raw.
So the topic of the day is, should you try to get your ex back if you still have feelings for them? So we'll start with you, Anthony. Raw.
Should you get your ex back if you have feelings for them? Do not listen to me, look at me while I'm talking to you. Do not let your feelings be the determining factor of whether or not you should get back with your ex.
Right.
There comes a time when you will miss your ex, you will miss the intimacy, you will miss the affection, you will miss the things that they do, you will miss their personality and characteristics, etc. But also, in that time, remember why you broke up in the first place.
Right.
That is very important.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
should you get your ex back, let it not be because of your feelings. Let it be because something has changed within you or maybe even in that person that you see, and it could work this time.
Okay.
Well, thank you
dang.
for tuning into the show.
Right. That pretty much summed it up.
Yeah, summed it up.
That's it.
No, because that'll lead into a whole nother question. But I want to let you talk first. Go ahead, Kristen. What do you think?
I agree. I think feelings are just, like I could feel some way right now and then later,
Feelings meaning if you're still in love with them. If you know you're still in love with them.
if you're still in love
Yeah.
with them. So I think in love is a whole other thing too. But no,
Yeah.
I think that just understanding what that means, like being in love with them, could just have to do it again with a whole lot of feelings, And so I think I think that it's definitely not wise to jump back into something you got out of for just because you just feel like you're still in love with them. Because I'm sure when you broke up with them, you were still in love with them, or however the situation ended, you were in love with them, but it ended for a reason. So it's definitely processing through that and figuring out.
So you think you just let it go?
Yeah.
You both seem to think you should just let it go.
It's not based on
It just
feelings.
depends. Yeah, it
Not
just
based on
depends.
feelings.
Feeling meaning you're still in love with her.
If you
You're still in love with her.
You can love someone, but it not be a symbiotic relationship. It may not.
That's true.
It may not work. Love. It takes more than love, people. It takes.
Okay.
It does.
It takes love. It takes money. It takes discipline.
You're always bringing up the money.
Man, money is the
Money's
number
a
one
factor.
reason why people are divorced. Not
Money's a
infidelity.
factor. That's
not
true, though.
diet.
That is
not
true.
religion.
That is
money.
true. That is true.
You know.
Well,
Yeah.
what if you're both millionaires then? They still want to break up.
It's not about that. I think it goes back to kind of like
Yeah.
what I've said on the previously, that like you really have a lot. I think there's a lot of work to be done in yourself, and I think the reasons why we get out of relationships, even though we can say how much it was the other person, I think it's a lot. It has to do with us too. So it's just exploring that. Have you taken the time to explore that? Explore who you were in the relationship, and is it that you realize that, oh wait, what they were giving me was exactly what I needed, and so now I can go back and I can really love them the way that they need to be loved, because I understand why that's valuable to me, what they were giving.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you haven't taken that time to process through and like figure out yourself and kind of work through who you are, then it's just no point in going back into the relationship yet. So
can you say that you can go? You can
I
go
think
back?
you can. Yeah, I absolutely think you can
Okay,
go back.
I want to speak on that. I think that's a good point. I think that get back with the ex, because depending on why y'all broke up, you ever heard of forgiveness? You know what that word means? And we use it, we throw it around,
Right.
But do we really practice it? So if somebody you care about, if they're beating you, I don't know. No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Verbally
It
or
depends on the
physically beating you,
circumstances,
and all that thing. But let's say, for example, you got a misunderstanding, and you really love each other, and you made a mistake. I made a mistake. You made a mistake, and so you get some help. Get some therapist. You talk to my girl. She's a get some help, and then maybe it can work out, because we're gonna make mistakes.
Yes. So
Now, if she made the mistake of stabbing your mama, You shouldn't go back to that.
I mean, you know, people
Well,
change.
let me give another real example here, okay? So I'll do one of your examples, Mike.
Real example.
Okay, so you and I are together. We're very much in love. We've been together for like 3 years, okay? It's a long time, all right?
Oh.
And I just decide one day that I'm just going to dump you, okay? You're not ready to end the relationship, but I am. And it's like, we got to call it quits. I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy, okay? But you still love me, but you're the dumpy.
Okay.
And I'm the dumper.
Okay.
Okay. So it's usually the dumpy that wants to get back with the dumper.
So-
right?
Okay.
In most cases,
definitely
95%. Come on.
95%.
So the scenario is that's
okay.
the scenario, right?
That's the scenario.
So let's say you break up with me, right?
Right.
You break
right,
up with me.
Right.
You go out there a month to 2 or 3 months, you get passed around by all these guys, and you realize, damn, I had a good dude.
Wow.
I had a good dude. You come crawling back to me.
That happens.
You know, you come crawling back to me because I'm a good dude, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a good dude.
Right,
So
right.
all of a sudden now I look at you and think,
Now the shoe's on the other foot.
I said, baby, why did you come back?
I came back because I missed you. I'm coming back home, baby, because I miss you so much.
Then no.
Can't live without that.
Yeah.
You know what? I really was I really was thinking about, you know, how much you really were like there for me. As much as like I would pull away, you know, you really were there for me. And it was me that I found that I have the tendency to just like, you know, I run away from like that vulnerability and that affection. And you just, you know, but now that I've taken some time to myself, I realize that I really need what you have to offer. I really need somebody that's going to support me, someone that's going to love me unconditionally. And I'm really ready for that now. So if you would, you know.
I could take you back, baby. We'll
Oh.
You know, because you just explained to me that we all searching for something.
Yeah.
She came with the truth.
You came with the truth, and the
Yeah,
fact is,
yeah.
and I'm not even concerned about who you've been with and all that. It's just the fact is, what we had is real, and it was based on something, you know, that was rooted in something. Yeah.
Right, but then it also shows that I didn't just like that, you know, I didn't just like run back to you because, okay, maybe like everything else didn't work out or whatever, and like I'm vulnerable and I know that you were the person to protect me, but I've actually done some learning about myself because I just explained to you that I've learned this, and so I'm able to see this and admit the fact that I was this way in a relationship as opposed to just like, oh, I just need you. But you got to really be able to verbalize and understand what you process in yourself. That's how you know that you're really taking the time off to like really reevaluate and understand who you are.
So
that's
what if Anthony was, you know, that guy, and you want to take it? Let's say he cheated, and you couldn't, you know, but he realized he made a mistake and he wanted to come back. Could you just role play that? How would that work
Role
out?
play?
So you want to come back
Dang.
now?
Gotta put my acting skills.
Okay.
Kristen.
Nope. No.
Right away, right? Right away. You already see the game right away.
I know.
See?
Oh, wow. It's all
I
in the body
know.
language and everything.
I know that's not a reason you should take me back logically. But I want you to understand that I made a mistake, and in that mistake, I've learned that everything I needed was in you.
Okay, what is that?
That's the love. That's the future. That's a partnership. That's just the yin to my yang, or the other way around.
See, once you start throwing out quotes and stuff.
Right, you lost, right? You lost. You
Hey, but
lost.
trying
you
too
didn't
hard,
see
huh?
me. You didn't see you
trying too
satisfied.
hard.
You know,
So you know, yeah.
I didn't seem satisfied.
You didn't seem satisfied with what I said.
But if he was sincere, you know, because he did the yin and the yang, and I said you probably lose your net. But
Lost me.
would you
That's
take him back there? Would you take somebody back if they're cheated?
I do. You know what? I always thought that I couldn't, but I do think that I could. But they would really have to come all the way correct. Like I would have to see a complete like shift because and again I would have to see their personal growth, like, you know, and I would have to see what's that connected to, like what did you do to figure out who you were, what did you do to that, you know, to figure out why you did what you did, because you didn't cheat, I didn't make you cheat, I can't make you do anything, so I'm not gonna put that on me, and that's a whole other subject. But you know, like just being able to hear him process through him making a mistake. So that whole thing about forgiveness that you brought up, I think that in relationships, we have to understand that, like, I think we hold trust on a high pedestal. I just learned this because I'm doing my own personal development. But we hold trust on a high pedestal. Like, we'll say, I trust you. I trust. We could trust each other, be in a relationship. But when we do that, when we commit to that in the beginning, we set ourselves up for failure because we can't. We are constantly growing. We're imperfect, so we're gonna make mistakes. So I can't just say that I trust you with all this stuff that you're not gonna. You're pretty much saying I trust that you won't make a mistake. I trust that you won't hurt me. But that's really the challenges in
Putting too
relationships
much pressure.
is what it is. So
Too
what
much
you want to
pressure.
say is, like, I'm willing to take a risk with you.
Right.
Because I'm seeing that, I'm seeing what you have to offer, and I'm willing to take this risk. So it comes with compromise again and all those things. So being able to understand that is definitely important going into a relationship. But yeah, the whole, I would have to.
Because usually it's pretty big for a woman to take a man back. But as a man, if she cheated, could you take her back?
I've done that before.
You could.
Yeah, I've done it before. I mean, just because most women cheat because of emotional abandonment. So that means that there was a role that I didn't feel in her mind or whatever. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. I mean, that men don't cheat for that reason either. But usually when women cheat, it's because of emotional abandonment. And we talked it out.
And y'all got back together?
Yeah.
Are you guys still together?
No.
Something else happened. But see, this, it's so interesting that you brought up that word trust. Because see, with me, it would depend on the circumstances. If he tried to come back to me, it just would depend on what transpired. And I know people that this really happened to, and there's some kind of deal breakers that you just can't get over. And so for me, it would be like, okay, so you cheated, but I still love you. I'm going to take you back. But now you told me that you got homegirl pregnant, and she's expecting your baby.
Oh shoot, that's a whole nother message.
See, that's,
That's
that's a hard pill to swallow.
It
You see what I'm
is.
saying? On both sides.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
sometimes it's like, how deep is your love?
Yeah.
There's a song like, how deep is your love,
And I just, yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever taken anybody back? No?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was the go back kid. Till I finally got dizzy from the merry-go-round.
Were you happy that you went back, though? Did you happy that you...
Well, I was happy for a while. But then the same thing, like what you just opened up with, the same thing transpired why we broke up in the first place. And it was just like, I need this to be a different person. And that's putting, again, too much pressure on somebody.
Yeah.
They can't be that person. So it's better for me to just find that person than try to make you fit into my little mold. See, that's where we make the mistakes.
Yeah.
I hear men say all the time, well, I left her because, I was bored, or, I get bored in relationships, and they can't really stay in relationships. They do this relationship hopping. And it's like, how you going to put that kind of pressure on me? I'm not your social counselor here. I'm not responsible for your happiness. Only you're responsible for your own happiness. Can't anybody else in this whole world make you happy? Happiness is an inside job. You know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think that we are equipped to be in really powerful relationship. I mean, we don't take a class. We take class on how to drive. We take class on everything else to be a doctor. We study.
Right.
And we just jump into a relationship and think that it should work. A lot of us don't even know. We just, this feeling we have inside, and we move on it, and we think, oh, this is what it is. But I think a relationship, real relationship, it has to be much deeper than what most of us we're approaching it. You know what I mean? It has to be something like, because you don't train in it. You give somebody your heart, and you say, I love you. So I don't know. I think that I'm still out on the fact is about relationships. I'm still learning. But I think the most important relationship is with myself.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I'm guaranteed most of the time, we've told people we love them before, yes? Have you told anybody you love them before?
Yeah.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and told yourself that you love yourself?
No. Probably not.
Actually, I have.
Right.
Yeah. I
Have you?
haven't.
Probably, I think.
Probably.
Probably.
See, it's a probably.
But it's
so,
not like it's
but
not
yet-
like enough for me to
because
say, yeah.
society doesn't teach us to do that. It
Yeah.
doesn't teach us
Right.
love. It teaches us to seek outside of ourselves for love,
Exactly. Exactly.
for approval. And so we spend our whole lives getting people, and we make that person responsible for my love. You're now responsible for loving me because I'm too lazy or
That's
don't know
a
how to do
good
it
point.
myself.
That's a good point.
Yeah, making me feel loved.
That's a good point.
And so
Yeah.
because we don't know that.
But back to going to your ex, okay? So have you ever have you gone back to your ex before?
No.
You never have. You said
No.
his motto is, why would you want your ex back? Why the hell would you
Usually
want
I
your
stay
ex
there
back?
long enough, and I've done the forgiveness thing over and over
Yeah.
until I realize this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, if you wanted to get back with your ex, guys, see, like, I think it's a two-edged sword. If you want to get back with them just because you're lonely, you know, and you miss the company, like you say, I need somebody to love me, or vice versa, that's not a good reason, okay?
What's a good reason?
A good reason is that this is the one. This is the one.
What do you mean by this is the one?
There's a
He
one?
fulfills all my needs. He fulfills all of my
Obviously
needs.
not. Y'all.
No, because hey, wait. I might have been the dumpee. So it's always the dumpee that wants to get back, usually 95% of the time. It's never the person
Have
who's
you done a
dumped
case
you,
study?
he wants to move on. Well, I'm just saying that usually you wouldn't have the conversation if it wasn't, okay, so there's the guy that got away. I had the guy that I should have married versus the guy that I married, okay?
Wow.
He's the guy that got away. But you realize that years later,
Yeah, but did you
I
dump him?
blew it.
You dumped him?
Well, for the guy that I did marry.
But that's what I'm saying.
but
So
it
the
could-
dumper. You were the dumper.
No. What happened is we just kind of
Drifted.
grew apart because I was still in love with the person I
That
knew
you met.
before him. But he was really more right for me. So that's the one who got away. There's always that one who gets away. You know, and should you try to get back with him? Well, maybe if you can. So would you take a woman if I left you for 3 months and I played the field and I did my thing, now here I come crawling back to you. Be
you
raw
take me?
and real. Would you take me
You
back?
gotta pay a choosing fee.
And what is that?
I don't know, I'll make something up. You can't, it ain't that easy to just come back to me like
Exactly. That's the way the
Like-
male ego thinks. It's you can't just come crawling back to me. And the women will think the same thing. How you gonna just come crawling back to me? Oh no, hell no. I done moved on to Joey now. You know?
Yeah, 3 months, that's enough time to meet somebody and start a whole other thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it depends, but
Well,
yeah,
they have that 30-day rule. Have you guys heard of the 30-day rule?
30-day rule.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so let's say you want to get back with your ex. So the norm is, if it's psychologically speaking, you're supposed to wait at least 30 days. Because the premise is you give him or her enough time to miss you and see what they've missed out on.
Okay.
And so now when they send you a text message, you're more apt to respond.
So
I
see,
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't, because I think it goes back to what I was saying. It's just like you're so focused on somebody else missing you, and you haven't dealt with yourself. Like you're so focused on like, okay, he gonna come back. So what have you done in that time? You know what I mean? Like kind of figuring out, okay, why it didn't work. And a lot of times, especially if you're the dumpy, you really fall into this victim role. And the victim, that's the worst place you want to be, because then you feel like, okay, he dumped me. So like I'm the one that's hurt. He's the one that's got to fix it, and you know what I mean. And so you don't focus on you. You focus on hoping that he gets it together so he can like you again or whatever.
But relationships are two ways, two-way street. So what if he or she broke up with you because in your mind they didn't appreciate you, and you think them missing you would allow them the time to see
What they lost.
what they missed.
That's
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 why I
good.
would think 30 days is cool.
That's a good one.
Well-
That's deep.
because it has it has to do with you, but it has to do with them too.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't have to do with them. They got to do their work, but you got to do yours. So in the appreciation thing, I can relate to that for sure, because I always feel like I come correct in relationships, but I think but I will fall victim to that if I say that, because the reason why I might feel that is because I might in the relationship, I might be giving 110% to them, but what I missed out on was giving that to myself.
Hello.
So when I get out of that relationship, it's like, oh yeah, like they didn't appreciate me, but like, okay, so why was I sitting in it and dealing with it the way that I was the whole time? Like, what do I need to fix about myself to come back, correct back into a relationship? Because I'm not gonna show up the way that I did before. There's still some things that I need to work on. Not saying I don't want to give it my all, but I'm just saying like, whoa, like, am I losing myself in this relationship because I gave, and I expected them to do that in return, but that's just me. So again.
What if it takes you 30 days to do that?
What do you mean?
to get yourself right so you can come.
Well, I'm not saying, so all I'm saying is that the 30-day thing, I was just saying, bringing it back to like understanding that like the focus, if you have this expectation of like hoping that this other person gets it together in 30 days and misses you, then you're missing out on really just like honing in on yourself.
You're
That's
saying
all.
that other person shouldn't be able to validate you as who you are.
I'm just saying that the focus.
You gotta have self-validation.
But I think the 30-day rule is about before contact, not trying to get back.
Yeah, it's before contact.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily getting back. I like that rule too because if you break up with somebody and you have a significant reasons, and then the next day, the next week, you're gonna start missing that, especially if you guys been together for a while.
Exactly.
You know, so you're gonna miss that intimacy. You're gonna, you're gonna miss the vibe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
So
then,
if you miss them, you think that you should go back? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying
contact.
I'm saying you'll miss them, and that will be because you get back to your feelings, which I told you earlier not to do. All right, because if you contact them before 30 days, I think 30 days is a good measuring stick for
if you can try. Yeah.
Yeah, if well.
So if you dumped the woman,
maybe longer,
and
Maybe
she
longer.
started missing you and she waited a month or two, does she have a better chance of getting back together with you? By talking about the good old days or whatever?
It depends. Not necessarily though. Not necessarily. It depends.
Okay.
But I do think at least 30 days is a good measuring stick. Contacting your ex. That gives you time really to get yourself together and figure out why things don't work out too.
Any final thoughts from you, Michael?
I think that relationships are learning tools. We meet certain people in our lives because there's sometimes they mirror what we need to work on.
Right. That's a
And
good
so
one.
when we look at that, then we can begin to realize that maybe it's not meant to last forever. Maybe it was a season, a reason, or a lifetime type of relationship. So you might be there just to learn something, preparing you for the next relationship. Maybe what you call the one.
Right.
So if we look at relationship as that, instead of putting all this responsibility on another person to make me happy, this person is my everything. I've done it before. You're my everything. As soon as I've done that, I've messed up.
Yeah.
That's too much
Too
responsibility
much
for a
pressure.
person.
It's too much pressure. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's beautiful. Guys, I can't say it any better than that. That is so wonderful. Thanks so much for watching. And hey, if no one has told you they love you today, we love you.
I like you a lot.